A year after President Trump took office, hundreds of thousands of women again took to the streets in massive demonstrations. Now many are looking to turn the energy of protest into actual power.
A record number of women are running for office this year, and it's the topic of the Time magazine cover story, The Avengers. Here to talk about it is Time national correspondent Charlotte Alter. Charlotte, good morning. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
Let's talk about the numbers, first of all. How big are they?
Extraordinary. I mean, there is a pink wave coming. The number of women Democrats challenging Republican incumbents for House seats is up 350%. Wow. In an ordinary, actually the last 2-year period from 2015 to 2016, Emily's List saw about 900 women reach out about running for office. In the last 1 year, they've heard from almost 30,000, which is a huge jump.
Let's talk about the catalysts that have driven women to do this. You liken it to citizens enlisting in a sudden war. What's taking these women out of their sort of like happy professional, personal lives and into the political arena?
Yeah, well, so what's interesting is that I think Trump caused these women to march, but it's their Republican members of Congress who are kind of providing the incentive for them to run. Most of the women that I spoke to said that they were absolutely enraged, not only just by the actions of the Trump administration, but by their Republican representatives who were trying to take away their health care. That was the #1 issue that women cited in their reason for running. And not only trying to take away their health care, but also then canceling town halls, refusing to meet with constituents, and not kind of stepping up and listening to the people that they're supposed to represent. A lot of women said some version of, you know what, I can do a better job than that guy.
Yeah. It's interesting because when the march happened, and we were talking about this in the break, a lot of people thought, well, this is a really impressive turnout, but what's going to happen next? Something did happen.
Absolutely. I mean, there was a ton of skepticism after the march last year, and it was interesting to me because it was the largest single-day demonstration in American history, and it was led entirely by women, and it was mostly women who were marching, and yet there was a lot of, what are they really going to do about it? One thing that I thought was interesting about this year's march is that every single person I spoke to, I covered the march last weekend, said that they had been, if they weren't running, they were organizing. If they weren't organizing, they were donating. If they weren't donating, they were voting and encouraging everybody around them to vote.
When you talk, one of the things we talk about when we have previously looked at the dearth of women candidates is women feel like they need to be qualified. They need to check all the boxes before they run. The same feeling is not true for men. This year, that seems to have changed in large part because of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
Absolutely. This is a total paradigm shift in the way women think about their own qualifications for running for office. I think, like you said, there are all these studies that show that men will go for a job when they meet 60% of the qualifications, most of the qualifications. Women feel like they can only put themselves forward if they check all the boxes. And I think what we saw in the 2016 election was you saw a woman who many women perceived as being extremely qualified, certainly the only woman ever to come close to the presidency, running against a man who had never held public office, had never served in any government role. And it made a lot of women think to themselves, and then she lost. So it made them think to themselves, if Hillary Clinton was the most qualified woman ever to run for president, and she lost to somebody like Donald Trump, maybe all those qualifications aren't actually that important.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. There are 12 women in the Senate who are up for re-election. 11 are Democrats. Are the Republicans answering with female candidates?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a really tough map for Democrats in 2018. Mm-hmm. Most of the energy is certainly on the Democratic side, but there absolutely are a lot of women Republicans running. I mean, women Republicans are there. It's not as if this is all on the Democrat side. There are certainly a lot of Republican women, especially women who are going to be challenging Democratic incumbents. But the surge of energy, the surge of women who are like putting themselves forward who would have never ever considered it before is largely on the progressive side.
Well, women make up half the country, only a fifth of Congress and 12% of the governor's seats. So perhaps a rebalancing of the scales is overdue. Charlotte Alter from Time, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.